to support a measure that will shift $850 to $1.1 billion from all other agencies into K-12 education. It's a very controversial proposal, and when they announced it, they said that it was a gift from members of the National Education Association to the children of Oklahoma. That is a very dramatic impact, and every one of those dollars came from dues-paying members in public schools, and I think it reinforces your point. Question?
And from out of state.
Yeah.
So we get into the out-of-state stuff. The unions do it as well as General Motors.
And I want to make a quick question about national referendum, which we've been talking about some. I used the analogy yesterday of the freeze. 19 million people voted. I think it was 11 states and about 5 dozen communities. And it was like 50, the nuclear freeze. I covered it in 1982 when I was up there in Washington. 58-42, I believe, was the margin, if I remember right. So there's one. And then in 1992, the term limits. So you have very different results for most people's philosophy. There's some exceptions, libertarians might have been for both of those. But reflect on that for a minute, that the two closest things we've ever had to a national referendum led to very differing results in terms of traditional Democrat-Republican divisions.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why the initiative process and expanded participatory democracy has support is that people on the right and the left both can look at failures of legislatures to get certain things done, to introduce certain ideas, to be able to get past certain special interest groups. And one way to do it is through the initiative process. And that was true both on the nuclear freeze, I mean, how do you get attention on an issue like that, and on term limits, neither of which were necessarily endorsed, supported by establishment thinking and activists. So both of those, I think, those two examples you give, are part of the reason why left, right, center, all sorts of people can say, this is a useful tool for affecting policy in a helpful way when the legislature is jammed up and won't, and, for pernicious reasons, or I think sometimes because they're just scared, okay? I'm not sure they're always being bad and mean, they're just terrified that if they try something new, they'll, the ice isn't thick enough and they'll go through. And it gives us that opportunity. And again, you have these left-right conversations, as you did on term limits with Ralph Nader and economic conservatives both. This is a tool that has general support. It's generally not, the guys in charge under the old rules like the old rules. That's generally your opposition, okay? If the elected senator should be making all the decisions, the elected senator thinks that's a very wise way to structure things. And the idea of allowing other voices, and never mind other voices, other powers, competing powers, to have a say in the matter is not something that's terribly exciting for the status quo. So if one wishes to see national initiative or referendum in the United States, I think the most effective thing we can do is to use the initiative intelligently and frequently and consistently at the local level. This is something where I went to the U.S. term limits people and I said, when they passed all the different states, I said, my recommendation is go to every high school and term limit all the people who run for student body president, so you can only do that for a year. And the reason for that is, sorry, my wife is calling. I'll call you back. It's Mrs. Giuliani, not mine. When we use the initiative process well, it makes the case to people in states that don't have the initiative process, I wish we had that. And it makes the case to people nationally, this isn't scary. I mean, the best way to take an idea naturally is to make it work in a state. And so you might say, well, I can only have the initiative process in my state. Fine. Use it in the state, do interesting things with it, and that's the best sales pitch for taking it to other states and to the national level and to other countries as well. So I think we really can we've seen how the initiative process takes an idea national, but I think one of the things that happens is when we use the initiative well, we actually are selling the concept of the initiative at a national level and in other states. Thank you very much.